Hello and welcome to Insights in Action with Orange 142, where we interview agency leaders and business owners to uncover the journeys, the strategies, and the insights that drive their success. At Orange 142, we're all about transforming brand stories into impactful digital experiences through innovative media and marketing solutions. And today I'm very lucky to be joined by Will of BellaVix. How's it going, Will?
It's going great, Shiv. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here. And Will, I would like to just start this off by learning a little bit more about your background and a little bit more about BellaVix.
Awesome. Yeah, my background, I've been in the marketing game since like 2013. Upon graduating college, like a lot of young entrepreneurs, I started working at marketing agencies in the advertising capacity. Google SEO and PPC is the gateway into Amazon and marketplaces,
Yeah.
whereas where I operate BellaVix as an agency. And so I evolved in multiple roles from actually doing the work to building teams and now representing the agency that does way better work than I could ever do, to be honest with you. So it's been quite the journey, and I'm excited to share some of the things I've learned over time.
Yeah. And so what are some of, like, obviously you guys specialize in growing brands on marketplaces like Amazon and Walmart. And I know Walmart's come up quite a bit for
Yeah.
brands to be able to advertise on, which I think was a really cool move on their part. But what are
Yeah.
some of the biggest mistakes that you see e-commerce brands making when they're trying to scale on these types of platforms?
Definitely understanding that a couple of things I hear all the time. It's specifically does Amazon cannibalize my sales on my website? And generally it doesn't. At the end of the day, what a lot of the misconception is that shoppers only shop in one place. And reality is that Amazon has a really big customer base and a lot of consumer confidence, and shoppers are going to shop wherever they're going to shop. We
Yeah.
have found out over and over again that a consumer will visit a website, they'll go check reviews on Amazon, and they're probably going to purchase on whatever is going to get the product to their house the quickest, which a lot of times on Amazon. So it's a different user experience, and it tends to be an elevated buyer. These people tend to have more discretionary income on the Amazon marketplace. So your messaging needs to be a little different.
Mhm.
Walmart is up and coming, but infrastructurally, it's different than Amazon, for example. You can't just copy and paste your listings over. And the messaging and kind of the positioning of the brand, I like to say it's like kind of the blue collar world. There's blue collar millionaires, but there's definitely a certain almost like made in America pride that goes with a Walmart consumer that is a lot different than an Amazon consumer, which is going to be a lot different than your website. And a brand that does that really well, for anybody who's listening, you can check out Dude Wipes. You can look at their Amazon listings and see how they position their product and then compare it to Walmart. And there's small the types of images they use, a little tweak in the messaging, and you can see how they're trying to resonate with different shoppers because they understand the consumer psychology of a shopper on Amazon versus a shopper on Walmart.
So could you dive in a little bit deeply on what that difference is between consumers on Walmart versus Amazon?
Yeah, to dive in a little deeper, and there's software for this to be real. So anybody who's in the space, check
Cool.
out Helium 10. Data Dive's a great add-on
Mhm.
accessory, but a lot of it's going to be the messaging on the value add. And so let's be real, on Amazon, they're okay spending a little more, the convenience of shipping, whereas on Walmart, it might come down to pricing. It might be the value of the product or the value add that is more aligned with families that might be under different budget constraints.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That's what that's what I was thinking too, because Walmart has this whole brand that's built around, hey, we offer some of the cheapest prices around.
Yep.
Whereas
Everyday low
Amazon,
prices.
yes, exactly. And
Yep.
Amazon has this brand that's built around, hey, we can get things to you in 2 days or less. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, wow. And so would you say that if a brand is really trying to grow an e-commerce brand specifically, that they're usually doing themselves a disservice if they're not on Amazon or Walmart?
Absolutely. I would say Amazon's a must. At the end of the day, 50% of e-commerce, give or take, is on Amazon. It officially surpassed Walmart in terms of gross revenue as of Q4 this year. So it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
People like shopping on Amazon, but Walmart, it's still a beast that's everywhere.
Yeah.
But I still look at it as like a first mover opportunity. There are premium shoppers. We're finding that a lot of middle and upper middle class are they're getting their essentials on Walmart. So depending on the category, it might make sense. But yeah, you definitely need to be both if you're an online brand.
Yeah, wow. Okay, that's really interesting. And I'm thinking about my buying habits too. And I definitely, if I see something on even the stuff that's on today, like TikTok Shop and all that stuff,
Yeah.
I go to Amazon first to see if A, I can get it quicker, and B, if it's going to be,
Yeah.
that's so true. And I can totally see some companies being resistant to it because they think that it's going to take away from their sales. But
Yeah.
Amazon's one of the most well-known brands in the world, right?
Exactly. And honestly, it builds consumer confidence. They have consumer confidence. And
Yeah.
honestly, like you do need a website. If you're a new to market brand, they're going to look for you in a couple places because like a consumer may not be, you're going to look at a product and see it doesn't have as many reviews or it's different, but what makes a difference? And they're going to go from Amazon to your website and check it out. And if you don't have a website and you're an Amazon or marketplace only brand, there's going to be questions and it's going to affect your conversion rate.
Yeah. And so you guys really focus on e-commerce brands doing at least $2 million a year in sales, and particularly in the beauty, pet, and health categories. And I'm
Yes.
curious, what makes these categories uniquely challenging or rewarding in the marketplace space?
Yeah, so they're all a little different, but we found like specific with the beauty space is like a lot of shoppers are comfortable shopping on beauty. They
Mhm.
tend to be very trendy. So like in
Mm.
terms of, and Amazon just launched their 2024 search report, and the beauty category was one of the top growing categories of last year in terms of search volumes and click-through rates. Also successful launches within the space. I think it was like around 27%. So like beauty category is it's just a great place for shoppers to discover your product. And there's lots of like advertising and marketing tactics that can be leveraged in order to get your products in front of the right people. Very similar to supplement, very trendy.
Mhm.
And pet category, it varies. So if you're selling leashes and collars, it's a lot tougher of a category to be in. But vitamins, dog treats, or something innovative in the space,
Mhm.
you're going to have better growth. But the pet category had insane growth. I don't remember the exact number, but we Americans love shopping for our pets.
Yes, yes, that's a huge category. I could totally see that. So, as a business owner, you're dealing with so much, right? In e-commerce, especially, you're dealing with your cost of goods, you're dealing with your own marketing you're doing for your website. So, I think that I see the inherent value. Like, as a business owner, you don't have time to go learn a new platform like Amazon
Mm.
or Walmart. And I think that's the inherent value of a company like yours coming in. And so with that being said, how do you guys stay ahead of the changes that some of these marketplaces have in their algorithms and ensure that like your clients stay competitive?
Yeah, so we're blessed. We're in the service provider network for both Amazon and Walmart. So pretty much we're pre-vetted by both platforms. And what it means is like we follow this is all we do every day. So we're in the platform. We notice when they do dashboard changes, they'll have like new feature or some type of update within the main dashboard. We also track the news on a regular basis. We attend industry conferences and we have reps that we connect with on a pretty regular basis that talk about some of the updates that are happening. And a lot of our reps are category specific. So like we know specifically for beauty or premium beauty or supplements, like what are some of the changes around compliance? What are some of the demand
Mhm.
shifts that they're seeing? What are some new features that they're offering in order to help us move more products? And what's great is like I have ADD, like I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs, and it's always changing. So like forever, I keep going down this rabbit hole and finding new things and new initiatives, and it's really enjoyable from like a discovery and execution standpoint.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's awesome. And what role does paid media play in scaling e-commerce brands on Amazon and Walmart? And what common misconceptions do brands have about running ads on platforms like these?
Man, I would say for the less savvy owners, they think if they list it, the people will just find them. And I was reading a study recently. At this point, the first 16 slots on Amazon and maybe the first 6 or 7 slots on Walmart, they're all paid advertising. At the end of the day, both of these platforms are pay to play, whether you like it or not.
Mhm.
They understand that you're renting digital space for them, and the digital shelf is a lot different than what you would find in brick and mortar. So the tactics involved need to be a lot different. And there's, if I'm selling a premium product that like is a vitamin C serum, I'm generally not going directly after vitamin C serum because it's very competitive. And most of the shoppers are looking for something that's like median priced and quality.
Yeah.
So like the tactic on that might be targeting other premium brands and then building and stealing customers that way. Whereas opposed if I'm working with a low cost item, I'm going to be really aggressive on PPC and I'm going to focus on those brands that I can compete on price point or unique selling proposition. But we're paying for eyeballs, and the only way to get those eyeballs is an advertising strategy coupled with a good SEO strategy.
Yeah, man. As you're saying this, I'm just thinking, and I think about this often, how insane of a product Amazon actually is. Like
Yeah.
it's its own e-commerce platform, but it's also like a mini Google where the algorithm changes in SEO, algorithm changes in PPC and all that stuff.
Yeah.
No wonder it's one of the biggest companies in the world, right? I mean,
Oh, it's insane. And not to mention the AWS feature. They're building out their own AIs, which they're embedding into e-commerce and retail.
uh,
It's no wonder people are going to the moon. It's
yeah, yeah.
insane.
Some of these AWS deals that they do are like millions and millions of
Oh,
dollars in one deal.
man,
It's crazy.
it's
Um,
crazy. I'm in the wrong space, but
I
either
yeah,
way.
whatever, we do what we can do, right?
Yeah.
So you guys obviously do an amazing job helping your clients out with things like Amazon and Walmart. Do you guys do anything outside of that? Do you guys do PPC, paid ads, or anything like that outside of those platforms?
Nah, we stick to what we're good at. We may do some influencer marketing. We're big fans of Stacked Influencer Levanta, but everything we do is tied to our mission, which is growing brands on marketplaces. Any of the brands that sign off any of those initiatives, we drive that traffic to Amazon, but we really don't do that much Google. We don't do that much Meta. Not enough where I'd be confident to talk about it and give
Yeah.
any advice on this podcast.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I like that. It's like, hey, this is our avenue. This is what we
Yeah.
specialize in. This is what we do really well, which is awesome. And I want to change gears here for this last question. You guys are an EOS company. I'm actually very excited to talk to you
Yeah.
about that
Yeah.
because I come from an EOS company from before, and it was really
Right.
interesting to see being in the leadership team, like first not being in the leadership and seeing how it was, and then being in leadership and having it part of every one of my days, like the quarterly reviews and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how does implementing EOS, like how has it impacted your guys' efficiency and your growth? And how do you guys apply those principles to maybe client strategies?
Yeah, that's actually a really great question. It's changed the game. It allowed us probably to more than 2x our business in two years after
Wow.
implementation. And a lot of it has to do with defining your vision, defining roles, and to be like transparent. EOS and even Traction, which is we followed a lot of Gino Wickman when we were going through the process. It is geared towards more like enterprise level businesses. So us being an agency, we have 12 to 13 employees. Like we're not a huge agency, but it allowed us to have more accountability metrics and made sure we're all working in the same direction and we have strategic alignment towards the vision. There's regular check-ins. And then like rolling that is like we have rocks essentially we have with each of our clients. So we do the 90-day rocks essentially, except we're tackling challenges specific to clients' accounts and we tie them to the annual goal, which to be honest with you, 9 times out of 10, it's some type of sales goals because we're in the marketing game.
Right. Yeah. No, I can tell you, I look forward to our L10s every week. Well, Will, this has been awesome. I've loved learning about your agency. It seems like you guys do amazing work. Where can people learn more about you and where can people learn more about BellaVix?
Awesome, Shiv. Thanks so much. The yellow pages. No, I'm teasing. That's extinct. No, check us out. BellaVix.com, V as in VictoriaIX.com. You can check out our website. Tons of case studies on there. And then I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, Will Haire, like on your head with an E. We have a newsletter that goes out regularly. You can sign up through LinkedIn. And I am always posting updates that impact sellers pretty much 3 to 4 times a week because there's always something coming out. We also share a lot of like PDFs and materials that can help you scale your brand without us. So we give away a lot of information.
Awesome. That sounds so good. Thanks again for being on, Will.
Awesome. Thanks again, Shiv.